Hello and welcome to this new podcast called Searching for Happiness with Jasper and Mel. And as you might know, I am Dutch, but we're speaking English because I make this podcast together with Mel.
Hello.
Mel, nice to do this together.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Me too.
Thanks for speaking English.
It doesn't sound as good as when I'm speaking Dutch, but I think it's better than we speak Dutch, right? 'Cause
I'm sorry, I speak about 5 words of Dutch.
We know each other from this practice called Sun Kyeong here in The Hague. And we came up with this idea to make a podcast about our search for happiness. Could you explain why? What are we going to talk about?
We've, I think, both been on a search for happiness, haven't we, our whole life? And kind of when we talked about what makes us happy and what we're trying to achieve, we had some similarities in that our life has been quite intensely following different kind of paths in our physical life to achieve happiness.
Yeah.
And then we've both had, of course, different lives, but a similarity in terms of really putting our heart into something and then realizing, it doesn't properly fulfill me. And then both had quite a profound experience following a more spiritual path, let's say, to make us happy. So then we were chatting and we came up with this idea of searching for happiness. So every week we're going to try and talk about a different subject, about what people do to try and make themselves happy, and what we've tried and what we've failed at and what we've found, and hopefully inspire people. And hopefully what I'd love to do, I think, is get to the bottom of who we are and what we're trying to achieve in our life, and therefore help people to be more happy.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited.
Me too. Let's see what happens.
To introduce you to the people, you were former theater director.
Mm-hmm.
You had pretty cool jobs, like directing at the National Theatre in London. And I also worked as an actor and made shows for television and YouTube. So yeah, we have some similarity in that area of our career.
Yeah.
So every week we discuss another theme that has to do with happiness. That are things that we try to achieve to gain happiness in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode we start with career.
Well, I'd love to ask you first of all, Jasper, if that's okay, about your career. And it, of course, this is such an interesting time right now because you've just given up the FOMO Show, which you did for 4 years. Is that right?
Yeah, 4 years.
And then before that, many years with Street Lab and other shows. And I don't speak Dutch, so I don't know. I haven't watched your shows, but I've seen bits. And I remember when I met you, your career was really making you happy, but there were also things that you weren't happy with. And I think a lot of people are interested as to why you would give up something that is so successful and that made you happy and that you made shows with your friends. There must be some big reason why you give that up. And tell us a bit about your career and your search for happiness.
It's definitely a question I get a lot lately because, we had quite a success with, first of all, Street Lab and then with the FOMO Show last 4 years. We even won an award last year, the Televisiering. It's like the Dutch television awards. And we always had so much positive reactions. People really like it. And give them a smile and maybe some happiness, hopefully.
Nice.
Like a dream job, actually, because I was together with my friends and we know each other for a long, long time, since high school, actually. And we just do fun stuff and we travel around the world and have a lot of fun, laugh a lot, and do all things people would like to do. And we look if you have to have fear of missing out for it or not.
And so because I guess you were in that career, I'm just trying to go back to when you're longing for success in that career as much as possible. And then what was the moment where you realized maybe that you wanted to do something else?
Well, it already started when I made Street Lab. That was also quite a quick success already. Like we started that and the first season already got also nominated for this Televisiering for Best Television Show. And it was the time that videos on Facebook and Dumpert, this other online platform, really got viral. So within no time we got really successful with it, and people really liked it. And I think 98% of people's reaction were really like super excited and enthusiastic. But then when I got these couple negative reactions, they could like cut through my heart, and I felt so miserable. And then I already was struggling with really unhappiness with myself and a negative self-image that could be to a point that got in such a low state that I was even thinking that I don't want to live like this anymore.
Wow.
And of course, when you make a show for television, these things get triggered a lot because people see you and people have an opinion about you, and they judge you. And luckily most of it was really positive, but of course people can also be negative, and that was always triggering me so much. And I think just the whole process of the making also like a pen I don't know how to say it, but it's
pan catches fire,
quickly get all these things up to the surface, all these these patterns that I was struggling with that were already in me, of course. So then I started to go to a therapist and started to talk about my issues, because I was so unhappy with myself and negative, but I couldn't really share it with anybody. Also with my friends, they asked like, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? Then I couldn't really open myself and talk honestly about it. So therapy really helped me and opened my mind that, okay, I just have these patterns and these thought patterns, but it's not really who I am.
Yeah.
So, and since I think I was about 22, 23, I really started a spiritual journey besides my job. And of course we had a lot of fun with the job, and we did so many crazy things. But at the same time I also felt a lot of the times not so happy with myself. So I've been on this journey, and I started to do all kinds of meditations, read a lot of self-help books. So I did a lot of therapy, you name it, and I did it. I tried a lot of things because I was so interested in developing myself and becoming more aware of myself and my mind, my body, my spirit, this whole connection.
It's quite young to go on a spiritual search. I guess nowadays it's less unusual, but it's, there must have been something really longing inside of you for connection, I guess. Yeah,
exactly. And I think I don't had any friends that were so much into this as I was in spirituality and all these practices. They also were like, leave me alone with your practices.
The weird one.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they had to admit that they agreed on things, but no, but so that already started helping me to get more positive, actually, and to go more calmer and accepting myself more and more. But I always had these patterns that kept on coming back, like these really negative patterns of self-judgment and emotions that could really take me to the ground. So Gosh. Bad I felt about myself. And then 2 years ago, I found Sun Kyeong here in the Netherlands, which is a practice that actually comes from Korea, but is all over the world now. Because Master O, the pioneer that brought this to the West, was in Amsterdam, and somebody told me, you have to go there. He's giving a retreat, so I went there, and then I started to learn about these inherited patterns that we have, that we inherit actually from family, like our ancestors and all the family before you. And that opened really my eyes, because that was something I didn't learn in any other practice. And I started to do the practice and start to make a strong connection with this pure vibration that's filling you up with light and love. And that really changed my life. Like, it's been completely turned my life around in a positive way. So,
and what are the things that you've noticed that have changed? So of course I've seen you change so much, so I can say, but I'd love to hear it from you in terms of what you were dealing with, like the feelings of depression and anxiety, and because I guess what we want to help people with is to understand that these things can change, and these things blocking our happiness can just be patterns that, you know, aren't us, but they start to bring us down. And especially you're in a career where people are judging you, then that judgment is kind of reinforced, I guess. So what's the difference now in terms of like how you think, how you feel, and how you behave from before, would you say?
Well, the two things you just called were things I was struggling with a lot: anxiety and depression. It's not that I was every day felt super depressed, but it could be like moments that hit me and triggered me, and then a feeling of sadness, and always this anxiety, that this restless feeling that I wanted to fill up with all these things in the physical world.
Yeah.
And also in my career, I when I look back, I think I was so insecure, and there was such a lack of self-worth and love that with all these things I did, I was so trying all the time to be validated and accepted.
Prove yourself.
Yeah, prove myself. And even when we were filming the Street Lab, that I remember that then I saw the edit, and then I was so worried that I wasn't enough, like on screen in some episode. And then I was worried about that, because then I think, but then I'm not worthy enough. All these really deep, insecure patterns that I had.
And was that getting worse over the years, would you say? Or did you find ways to manage it?
Well, I find ways to manage my emotions more, but the pattern didn't really get away. And of course, getting older and well, when you're successful and year after year, then of course also from your ego, you get more self, how you say it, confidence. Yeah. But it's still, the pattern was there. So
sort of fake, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think happens with a lot of people when you have success. Then based on that success, you build like self-confidence. And that feels, okay, yes, we're doing good. And people like it. And of course that feels good, but it's not the real you and the real confidence.
The kind of confidence where you're just peaceful, whether you're successful or not successful, you're happy and peaceful and happy with yourself, no? That's what you're longing for.
That was what I did there, because then it's fun. So you feel like, okay, good, and then something happens and boom, you go down again to that point of feeling so...
it's so reliant on the outside world, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So although I loved my career and I had a lot of passion making it, and I really love being creative, and having fun with your friends as a job is, everybody dreams from that. So I understand that a lot of people don't understand why I made this decision. But so last year I had such a profound experience during this practice that I really felt like I'm making a real connection with my inner self, who I really am, like my essence, my spirit. And that's just the best feeling there is. I can't explain in words how beautiful that feeling is. And that's I think what we're all looking for is that connection, that feeling of feeling of coming home, actually, wow, this is who I truly am. And the thing is, we're just all looking in the wrong direction. That's my opinion, that we all look in the physical world to fill us up with this, we're filling up this lack of that feeling. Yeah. And career is definitely a thing, one of the biggest things we're looking for it. So it's not that there's something wrong with having a career or trying to achieve something, like having a goal and really be passionate about it. And of course, people need to just create an income because we need to live. Yeah. But although I had a dream job, I always still had these patterns of not feeling happy with myself. And then I, through this practice found that. And then I think, wow, this is just the best feeling ever. And the end of last year, I just realized, wow, this is the most beautiful experience I ever had. I really want to help other people with this, because that's what I think is also our nature, is to help other people. And I always had this feeling that I want to do something for other people when I felt so low and down when I was younger. And then when I start to come out of it, I already had this longing inside, like, I really want to help people to become happier, actually. And of course, with the shows we made, we also give a smile on people's face. And I get beautiful messages from people that, well, had a lot of struggles, had panic attacks, and then just watch our shows to feel happy and, you know, how grateful they are for it. And it's, of course, beautiful. But I believe this spiritual connection that I now made myself, that's what we're all longing for, even if we're not aware of it or are.
Wow.
And yeah, that's what I want to help people with. So.
I mean, I must say, I think it's so inspiring. Of course, I'm coming from the place of kind of going with you on that journey a bit and supporting you, and went on a similar journey myself. But I think for people who are feeling that unfulfillment, whether they're successful or not successful in all areas of their life, I think it's so impressive, and even more impressive that you have something that's really successful and beautiful that you do enjoy, but this kind of calling from your spirit, or this connection, and like you say, this feeling of coming home, you think, this is it. This is what I have to do with my life, and this is what I have to help other people with. And I think that's so beautiful, because it's so focused on how do I share this rather than just how do I create more for myself. And I think what I've seen anyway in the change in you is how happy you are, like, you know, and I see like 99% of the time, like this happiness is coming from the really deep, pure place that doesn't need success or validation or all these other things. And imagine if we could all have that, then it's not a problem to have success or this, what all areas of your life, but it's like we're building the foundation of our life on sand, you know, because we've been told, okay, first of all, you create the physical success or, you know, partner, job, house, you know, money and all these things. And then sometimes we don't realize until it's too late that they don't make us happy. And it's interesting how some people either have success in different areas of their life, then their whole life becomes to keep it, and then they're like, oh, I have to keep it, I can't lose it, I have to grow it, and then so they can't really be happy. Or other people, they don't have it and they're just desperately trying to achieve it. And I think that those two things are happening with so many different people, and myself included before I found this. And what you found, and you're like the living example of, okay, let's create that deep happiness from the inside and then see where your life takes you. And it might not have been with this, it might have been another route, but you know, that of course has had a big impact on you. And I think, gosh, the change is so big actually. And I think so. It's really nice to hear. And I'm sure you're going to help so many people. Well, you already are, but let's see you. So let's talk about your career, because you also had a really cool and interesting career. It feels like a long time ago now.
Well, it is quite a long time.
About 10 years ago. Yeah, almost.
Could you tell something about your career? So you were based in London. Yeah,
I in a way, there's a lot of similarities to you, but I wasn't in front of the camera or I was a little bit, because as a director, you're in the reviews of the newspapers and things, but not as like the face, you know?
Yeah.
So I spent a long time in the theatre industry. It's as most people know, those kind of industries, it's not like there's a clear path. You just sort of, a lot of it's luck and hard work and not giving up and growing your inner confidence. And I also had very low confidence, low self-worth, but on the outside, very, very outgoing and charismatic and social, but struggled from an early age, like age 17 with an eating disorder. And then I kind of came out of that in university, but I think that was sort of a symptom of something deeper, which is just not feeling good enough. And, but I was also very hardworking and determined, and if I wanted to make something happen, I would go till I would not stop, you know, keep going. So almost 10 years career in the theatre, and making a lot of my own work, and then getting jobs in the, you know, the high-end theatres and in the West End and the National Theatre, the Royal Shakespeare Company. But the thing that made me happy was doing my own work. And it took a while to kind of get established, but at one point I sort of won this award through the National Theatre, so that helped me kind of get more success, if you like. And everything was going well. And I was at the point when I stopped it, I was finally getting offered jobs rather than chasing jobs and sort of heading to the point where I wanted to be. And I could kind of see where my career was going to go. But like you say, you're only as good as your last show, and everything's very momentary. You rehearse a play for 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and then it goes on, and then it gets reviewed well or not well, and then you feel flat and empty.
Yeah.
You have negative reviews, you still feel flat and empty. It's what I realized is exactly like you, this search for happiness through my career was not quite working, because you get the rush and the adrenaline rush, and then it's gone. So you're constantly chasing the next thing. There's not many jobs in, it's thriving in London, but compared to the amount of directors, there's not many jobs. So you're constantly a bit competitive. And what happened is I was a very social person as well. I had a really active social life, but my health started getting quite bad, actually from around age 23 when I moved to London, and I got glandular fever. I think you call it mono. So I was really sick, but I worked through it, and then I kept getting tonsillitis, and my body was sort of going, hello, you can't cope. But of course I didn't listen, so I kept going, and it'd be very up and down, my health. And then I gradually started getting more and more exhausted and tired, and I just kept going. And I sort of look back and think, gosh, I think I probably would have kept going and ended up killing myself or something, because I didn't know about energy, and I wasn't into alternative things at all. And like you, my friends were just kind of very normal and doing normal jobs. I believe my spirit was really searching for something. And all I can remember feeling is like I would look up at the moon and think, gosh, this is so beautiful. Like what is going on? Why are we here? Why are we on this earth? I think I started getting anxiety for the final 2 years before I found this. Mainly because my health was so bad, I was worrying about keeping going, and I was constantly having to push through, because you can't just take days off, when you do this kind of job. So it was really interesting, because it was like, on the one hand, things getting more successful. On the other hand, I couldn't really cope. My body couldn't cope. I would get sick every rehearsal process, but have to work through it.
Wow.
But it was sort of seen as a normal thing. And even talking to other directors, I think I was very sensitive.
It was almost cool that you were like...
Not cool.
Going over your limit all the time and feeling bad.
I don't think it was cool. I think I was just trying to survive. But when I talked to other directors, a lot of people would get sick doing those jobs, because it's a lot of pressure. And then as a director, you're sort of, it is a bit lonely, because you can't really be like one of the gang with the actors. You can a bit, but you have to also create a separation. And you can't say, oh, I'm going to do this job, and then I'm going to have a break, and then I'm going to do, you just have to take what's given to you. So at one point I was working at the National Theatre and the West End from morning till night every day, and with no energy. But I didn't know that was the problem. Now I work with energy, I can see the problem was my energy battery was completely empty. I just kind of burnt it out. So when I found this practice, it was like having water in the desert, because it had been what I'd been needing for 10 years. And when I started receiving this vibration, I found the Sun Kyeong Center in London. So then I started going to the Sun Kyeong Center. I was about 32. It was like this kind of safe haven where no one judged me, where there were all types of people going who didn't know me from my other life, and like old and young and different ethnicities. But the common thing was everyone just wanted to kind of open their heart and grow their connection with themselves and with the universe. And I remember one moment in a meditation feeling so like I'd found home, and so deeply peaceful, and almost like this feeling of being in paradise, that if anyone offered me anything in that moment physically, I would have been like, no, I just want to be like this. And then I thought, I want to help other people feel this. And so, I gave up all the theatre life and started this work. And that was 9 years ago. And I can honestly say I've never regretted that decision. Of course, I've encountered challenges, and we're doing quite spiritual work. So there's quite a
clearing,
a cleaning, a facing of your ego, humbling. Like, it's really quite intense, but the happiness that comes from that is beautiful.
Yeah, what I also found is when you're so caught up in your job or your career, just so over focused on that one thing to achieve, or actually I was like hopping, what you also said, from high to high. So you have that one premiere of that one thing that's coming out, and you're really looking forward to it, and you're putting all your energy, all your love, all your passion into it, and then it's there, and then it's just like
And then it's happened, and then you're
it's done, and you think that is gonna make me really happy, and then you achieve it, and then it can be a success or not, but then it's never what you the longing you have for what it will be when you achieve it. It's never meeting that expectation, and then you have it, and then you're okay. Well, that was it. Then let's go focus on the next thing.
Yeah, it's like the hunger that can never be fulfilled, you know, and then and also the expectation is way too high, so you're always disappointed. And I think it is because we're not connected to, we say like the mind of the universe, the source of life, or we're not connected to ourselves. So without connection, nothing has enough meaning because it's very shallow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all searching for it without that we're even aware of that we're searching for it. So and then of course when you have something or you do a job and that gives you some kind of joy or pleasure, then okay, this is gonna help me. So then you focus on that, and so for everybody that's something different, of course.
And so you searched for many different spiritual things, didn't you, for a long, long time?
Yes, I did.
And were you kind of consciously knowing that you weren't happy, or was it just kind of all very unconscious, would you say?
No, I was quite conscious of it.
Yeah, you knew you needed to change things. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I mean, I mean, it was inevitable how bad I felt sometimes. So it's not was nothing. How you say it's subtle about it.
No, you knew what was happening.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really talk to the people around you about it.
Well, eventually I did, but it was hard when I was younger. It was really hard for me to open up. I think this general thing for men to find it difficult to share your emotions and your deeper feelings, and you just want to be steady, successful, and not it's also really vulnerable, of course, to share these things. So
I remember when, because of course I gave you one of your first treatments. And we give the acupressure with the sound, and then I can feel quite a lot what's happening in people's energy systems. And I remember placing my hands on your belly, and first of all I felt, gosh, there's hardly any energy there, like it's very low, like almost like the battery was just empty, because you know, I guess all that anxiety and worry and thinking, it drains our energy battery, you know. But I also felt this vibration that was like a bit sort of chaotic and hectic, that I think was this anxiety inside of you. And then at some points I would I could see your kind of, and feel your like this pure heart, but this sort of wall of depression kind of covering it. It was really interesting.
Good description.
And that's well, you know, and I remember thinking, I didn't know your career or anything, but I knew you're on TV and things, and I thought, that's very challenging to have those patterns and then to be in that industry, because it's only going to make it more unless you know how to deal with it, you know. But I also remember feeling really impressed, because sometimes, I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, you know, actors and people who are kind of well known in the UK, and then sometimes the ego can get quite big. It's natural, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I remember you saying things like, oh yeah, well, when people give feedback, I like to kind of take it on and see if it's something real and that I can change. And I thought, gosh, that's quite beautiful and humble. And but I remember thinking, it's you know, how far can you go? Because usually most people in those kind of industries are very attached and very, like, the ego doesn't want to let go of a certain, you know, image or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
So I was really impressed with all the and then as you started kind of following this path, and of course everything you've done was in preparation for that, I remember like seeing your determination and hunger, because we have the desires for all the physical things, but we also have the spiritual desires, like you say, to connect and to know who we are, and to connect with the universe, you know. It's how we're meant to be, and to share with others. And I remember like literally like seeing steadily those start to emerge from you, where you just, it was like just when I thought, okay, you probably reached the end of the road here, no, those desires would kick in, and then you want to open more, you want to grow more, you want to learn more, you want to share more. And for me, it was such a beautiful thing to watch, because it was like, such a clear example of how, okay, it doesn't have to be, oh, you're just struggling so much and then, this helps. It's like, no, some things are actually good, but that spiritual desire for connection and for sharing with others is kind of pushing you, and but in a really kind of way where it just flowed and was very natural.
It's really, I mean, if you would told me this 3 years ago, I wouldn't believe it. But everything that happens the last 2 years, it felt so natural, and it feels like my true nature is coming out more and more. So.
And what about people? Of course, there's then other people who probably, and including people that thinking that they're a bit skeptical. They think, well, what's he doing? Or he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's lost, and, he's going to regret it, or, all these worries and fears that people close to you, they love you, and it's understandable. What would you kind of say to that in a way?
Well, it's hard to explain to people, because I can only say that I had the most profound experience in my life, and I felt a happiness and a love and a gratitude on such a deep level that, of course, if you experience that, then you want to do more of that and help other people experience that. So that's what I think so beautiful about, feeling this connection. Then it's not just for yourself. You really feel, I feel really deeply that, I want to share this with people and help other people get happy, because otherwise it would be something selfish. Just, no, I want to be happy, and I feel so good. And it even makes you more happy if you can share it with other people. So, gosh, it's so difficult for people to really understand why you would, change your life in such a way that you give up your career for something like this. I don't know what to say.
I guess if, people that know you, they see you're happy, and they believe you and trust you, then that should be the most important thing, really, right?
Yeah.
That's what we all longing for. So I'm excited to do these podcasts, because I think, because we want to cover like a different subject each week. And, we've kind of come up with some subjects, haven't we? Yeah. But also, if people want to suggest things, then we can cover that as well.
And if people have questions, then please let us know. We like to, try to find an answer, and we can look on it from our spiritual, view on things.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe we can end with a question somebody lady asked me. If you have a question for next episode, let us know. You can drop it down here in the comments, or you can send us a private message on Instagram or whatever social media platform. And then we can take it to the next episode.
Mm-hmm. The next episode is about relationships, right?
Exactly.
So ideally a question related to that.
And I thought maybe we can end with a question someone lately asked me. What I think is really interesting, that the person asked me that she said she is really sensitive for energy from other people. Mm-hmm. And she said that when she goes to places or to a party or whatever, that she really gets affected by energy from other people. Mm-hmm. And I also feel that I have that a lot, and that I got affected in my life a lot. Yeah. And I was wondering, because people think, and she said, do I need to protect myself for these energies? What can I do? Yeah. What would be your view on that?
I am very sensitive to people's energies as well, but it used to affect me much more in a negative way. And it used to make me, immediately, I remember actually finding this practice, going to the centre in London, doing a class or having a treatment or being in the centre, feeling so much better and clearer and happier. And then going for a meeting, like with a writer for maybe 1 hour, and it would go very well, but I would come out feeling exhausted or depressed or heavy, and I didn't know what was going on. And then someone told me, oh, you're probably taking on the energy from that person. whether they're a nice person or not, they're carrying energy, which is either light or heavier. So when I realized that, I was like, oh gosh. And then I think the tendency is that we think, oh, I'm with this other person and they have negative energy or heavy energy. I have to block it, or I have to protect myself, or you get worried about taking on that energy, and that makes it worse because you go into a lower vibration and then you take it on. So what we practice with this practice is filling yourself with more and more light and making your like container for light as big as possible. And then someone comes to you, you don't have to block them, you don't have to protect your energy. You can share what you've got with this person. But the trick is you learn how to connect with the universe that is giving you what you need. So you share your light with someone and you have less light, but you recharge from the universe. So we try to become this natural receiver and giver. But the other thing that you can do, and I started to do this when I found out about it, is you're with a person who's heavy or negative, and you could just say in your mind, I am light, I am light, I am light, or I am love, I am love. And then you know that is your essence, that is who you are. And then if you're feeling the other vibration, it's because that's coming from a different vibration, a different place. To boil it down, no one can change your light and your essence and your love. But if you're shaky and if you're very, very sensitive to that vibration, then you start changing. So the only way is not to change that person, because you can't change them anyway, and not to like cut yourself off from the whole world, but to just focus on your light, growing your love. And of course, what we do here is like certain meditations to help that. But it does work. And I used to say things also like, I'm happy, because this happiness, of course, that's the subject of our podcast, is happiness is the vibration of life, the vibration that we're meant to be in. So being happy does have to be number one. And then from that happiness, you grow your love, you grow your gratitude, and then everything deepens. So, I guess this person, if you're very, very sensitive and in a really, really vulnerable place, then okay, stay away from some negative people for a while. But of course, you can't really avoid it.
No.
So just keep focusing on the light. Don't focus on the darkness. Keep focusing on your light inside. And even if it feels like very small, just keep growing it more and more like the sun. And then gradually you will grow it. And ironically, by giving, you receive more. So don't close yourself, but open yourself to the universe. And then that will get better, because that's what I've experienced myself. So.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hope the person is watching or listening and can use this now.
Yeah.
So, Mel, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jasper.
It's really nice first podcast. Very excited about the coming episodes.
Me too. And we're looking forward to sharing it all with you and covering things that people want us to talk about. And I hope that we can just go into deeper and deeper layers of who we are and what we're chasing to be happy. And thank you for your honesty and really opening up. I think it's really inspiring to everyone, but probably also a lot of young men who can't open as much as they want to.
I hope it can help. Okay, well, thank you for watching or listening to Searching for Happiness. This was episode 1. Next week we're back with a second episode about relationships and our search for happiness in relationships. So stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, and let us know what you think. Give it a like, share it with your friends and family, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.